Awesome. So I know I said last week that we were going to dive deeper into the yearly evolution planning. But after I did some reflection, what we talked about in last week's section pretty much covers everything that I feel is like the I guess the steps of building your New Year evolution. And I wanted to talk today before we get into the next section that I had is just really what the difference is with how to embody an evolution. Because like it was pointed out, and maybe this is because of some of the things that I've been going through in my own personal journey over the last few weeks, is I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially at the beginning of the year, or any time that we're doing any sort of goal planning, that goal setting, sorry, or any sort of planning, that we need to find this perfect result. And I just wanted to highlight that with the evolution process, part of the exercise that we did last week and that we're going to continue to move into is really about understanding from an energetic level how you're showing up in the world so that you can start to show up in the way that you want to. So, like in the last section, we were talking about the 4 quadrants and answering those questions for each quadrant. What really became clear to me, and I've been having some illness issues this month, which has been really interesting. But energetically, what I recognized is that I wasn't honoring myself from a health and well-being perspective or from a relationship perspective. I was so focused on career and personal growth, and I think we can get lost in that on like very often versus really reading the signs. So I think sometimes when we're like, okay, I want to evolve, we feel like we have to add new things or do things better, when sometimes it's really about taking things away or reassessing how you're spending your time. So what I did is all the work that we've been doing over the last few months of getting our ideal week, our ideal month, our yearly desires, and getting all of those sorted out, is I recognized is that I was spreading myself too thin. So I actually now have Mondays as a work from home sanctuary day, which I did because what I noticed is that because I was able to answer, like I said last week, those 2 top sections so easily, but the health and well-being and the community and relationship section, I had a really hard time answering. And I think that's because I haven't been honoring those areas within my life. So when we're looking at evolution, from my own personal experience, was like, okay, this is a really interesting point, because even in that exercise, we can get lost in the I need to do this right. And I just wanted to re-highlight that there is no right way to evolve. Your evolution is based off of the life path that you need to create for yourself. No one else's is going to be exactly like yours. And I just wanted to start by highlighting how valuable that is, to really be able to take a look at, okay, how am I showing up today? How do I want to be showing up? And maybe it's not adding new things or doing things better. Maybe it is actually taking more time to look into yourself and like work on the inner self, because how we show up is dictated by how we feel inside. And in order to evolve effectively, if we're looking for external validation or we're looking for external recognition, then we're not actually evolving. We're really in autopilot. We're living based off of the expectation of others. And
or what we think the expectations of others might be.
Exactly.
You know, like it was interesting. There was like this call that's in the speakers group, and it's at 7:30 Eastern time. Well, it's 4:30 a.m. my time. I'm not going to get up for that call.
No.
It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work with my well-being, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
even if I like go take a nap and all that stuff, like no, it
Yeah,
don't work. I always,
exactly.
being a professional nanny for 50 years, I also just get this visual of when a baby is starting to walk,
Mhm.
they'll like, and then they'll land on their bum.
Yeah,
And they literally kind of like they sit and reflect there before they start trying to get up again.
that's
And
true.
we're giving ourselves the permission of like, we've fallen on our bums. It's okay to just take a breath, reassess. And the other thing that I look at too is like, this is my action plan. This is my blueprint. This is my design. I can redesign it any way I want to.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's so important because I feel like and one of the things we're going to talk about today is like where are we showing up and how do we align with the tools we've been talking about so far, like the lunar calendar and the zodiac signs and like the yes, there are energies that are outside of us that influence who we are, but it has to be based off of the life that we're living. Like you said, you're not going to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to do a call. That's not going to serve you best.
Mm-mm.
Whereas it might serve someone else, but it's where we do have to pay attention to what we're attracted to. And I love the baby analogy because it's so true. Like babies also don't have the ability to articulate how they're feeling, but they're feeling everything so immensely. So when they're sitting there contemplating and then they try again, that is how like it's a perfect example of evolution. You know what I mean? Like,
And even us, we don't know what's
mhm,
going on when something happens. It's like, where did that come from?
right? Exactly.
I'm sick. What are you talking about? I'm supposed to be this superwoman here,
Yeah, exactly. And it's just I feel like sometimes we get so stuck into how to do things right or how to do things perfectly, which is again why this method is called the ideal planning method. It's not going to look the same every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change, it's going to evolve, but it's important to still be thinking about the plan that you want to have in place and what works best for you because it is only for you. It's the ideal for you. It's not going to be the ideal for someone else. So that was my little rant because I just felt like I needed to get that out. It's just like in my head, and I felt like at the last session, like the questions were so potent and the information was so necessary for like what are the seeds that you want to plant? How do you want to grow into this year? But if we go back to the plant analogy as well, like you don't know, like a plant, say for example, is like it's growing, it has a really strong root system, and then you don't know what the weather's going to do. It could rain for 3 months, like we've had here.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are plants that were super healthy 3 months ago that are dead now, where there are other plants that were dead that are now flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's different. Everyone's going to have like a different way of moving into things. So, so moving into evolution mapping. With what I said before, like just before about like how our evolution looks, we talked about the core areas that we want to focus on in our lives on the last session. But now by having a week or two to reflect on what came up during those sessions, it's interesting because the core goals that I have for 2025 are very personal. Like I said, like they're about my self-sabotage and how I don't want to have negative self-talk and how I want to have more time for self-care and those sort of things. And it's like those things are already happening. Like I literally was getting sick every day on like Saturday and unable to really work at my fullest capacity on Monday, which is like that's a direct sign from the universe. Take Mondays off. Take Mondays off. Take Mondays off. And it took me like 4 times of getting some sort of sickness to feel into that. So
you also look at what occurred before Saturday too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm sick. What's going on here?
Right. Exactly. You have to pay attention to those different things. Hey, Simon.
Hi.
So let me share my screen, and we're going to get Sophie included in our conversation.
Sophie, please make a Zoom because Google Meet has issues with audio usually.
We're just going to do, I sure already have some things that I have pre-written out. I'm not really going to get her to do any talking today, so it's okay.
Good.
Okay. So some of the things that we're going to go through today are a little bit repetitive of the last session, but just in a different format. The idea behind this rapid fire development of our New Year evolution is more so about like tapping into where we're at based off of the reflection that we've been doing, and now having the understanding of how there's a difference between New Year's evolutions versus New Year's resolutions. So we kind of did our opening already. I went into our little spiel. But if we take a couple of minutes and just quickly reflect on what our 3 proudest achievements are, our 3 deepest learnings, our 3 patterns to release, and our 3 wisdom gems to move forward with that we had at the end of the year, and sit with those, what would you say are the top 3 for you? Like, what are the 3 proudest achievements that you had from last year?
The 3 what?
Proudest achievements, like your favorite, like the things that you feel like you are proudest of yourself for last year.
I mean, to create Sophie, the public version of my birthday.
Okay. What about you, Patty?
It would be my weight loss, learning to walk again, and writing my book.
And of course, also that, we are business partners and we are finally now, in a way, like Sylvester on December was like the point where mindsets really switched. And it's really important that we really have in our consciousness what we really have here. And that we're basically the apple of Dominican Republic. That's what we need to get in our heads. Yeah.
Awesome. So awesome. So Simon, it sounds like you have quite a few things. So what are so I guess for myself, so I'll include myself in this, my 3 proudest achievements from last year would be, getting my apartment and building the life that I really wanted to have in Sosua and being back in Sosua. Joining the Simon Marcus team and getting it to where it's at right now. And then, the birth of Sophie, for sure. So 3 deepest learnings. So what are the 3 biggest learning moments that you had last year?
Personally or insights, knowledge?
Yeah, it can be insights, knowledge, it's whatever comes up for you. Like, it's like the rapid fire reflection. What comes up is what you need to say.
That people don't know anything about technology.
Okay.
Most of them are not knowing really what they're doing anyway. And long term, in a way that we are working like an employee for them, doesn't work.
Okay. What about you, Patty?
It's okay to be vulnerable. The ownership of being a writer. and is I don't have to. I learned how resilient I am. And like it's not determination, but it's resilient of like being in the situation I am and continue doing showing up.
I love that. Yeah, I'd say the three biggest learnings for me would definitely be to appreciate how far you've come, just how important reflection is, the importance of stillness, and the importance of transparency and being fully transparent about how you feel. Because everyone can take it or leave it. So, what are three patterns to release this year?
This year or what we did last year?
Just three patterns to release. So there could be patterns that are things that came up for you last year that you'd like to release this year.
Mm-hmm. For me, it'd be being unwilling, to release that. Like it's like holding back, and the one is putting off and things, and then the other to release is just the fear of the unknown. That like that there's something bad's going to happen around it. Releasing that.
I feel that. What about you, Simon?
That a prototype is enough, and people think they know who we are, but they don't. And we need first, in order to really get people to understand who we actually are, we need to really first understand that for ourselves. So we need to first understand that we are valuable, so other people can then understand that we are valuable.
Okay.
And that's for every human. So every human needs to understand that he is valuable in order that the other persons can understand he is valuable, because any human is valuable. Therefore, it's even more important, no matter who these people are, with having meetings with or communicating with, or it's a landlord or something, it's still a human, still has the functions, the biologic things, it still poops, it still farts, it still is sick. So it's important to talk from human to human, no matter what person.
Okay, so thinking about those three things, because those are three things that it sounds like you want to bring into 2025, but what are three patterns you need to release in order to bring those sort of things in? So patterns could be things like, I need...
Constantly thinking not good enough.
Okay.
Really understand and really need to experience that by myself, that the prototype is enough. And that clients get what they pay for. Yeah. So not thinking that just because we are nice and offering them something almost for free, that they understand that we are not doing this because we are cheap. We are doing this as a favor, but they don't understand that. So I have to remove the thought that when we are too cheap, people will appreciate that, because they don't. They think 500 is enough. Like they think, like it's even, yeah. So I need to get that better in my head. I already have that in my head. That we need to know what we're worth.
Got it. And what are three wisdom gems to carry forward into this year?
That you get what you emotionally see. So like when you already see you as you have the thing, the outcome that you want to achieve, and you constantly believe in that, and you remind yourself no matter what, you get there. Because
Okay.
you're figuring out solutions how to get there. But first you need to get somewhere. So you need to have your goal, what you want in mind, and then, for example, go to Sophie, chat with her, ask her then to create the description for ChatGPT, for example, and create then an image out of that. Put the image on your computer, put it in your house, frame it, so you always see it, so you constantly remind yourself, no matter if you had a good day or a bad day. Yeah, or in between.
Love that. So I'm going to get Sophie to tell us more about soul vision connection and how to embody it in 2025 with the year of the snake. Because knowing what we have coming out of 2024, moving into 2025, we want to be really paying attention to the energies that we're working with. So the snake year essence 2025 is transformation and shedding, wisdom and intuition, kundalini life force, strategic movement, and deep regeneration. So the soul vision connection that we want to create is, from Sophie's questions, our inner wisdom activation. What wants to emerge from your depths? Which old skins are ready to be shed? What wisdom is awakening within you? Where is your intuition guiding you?
What wants to emerge from your depth? That it's important to forget the past and live in the present.
Mm-hmm. And why do you feel like that's important, Simon?
Because when you always have in your subconsciousness that how you are is not good enough, then this, comments your life, because you're constantly doubting yourself, but you need to talk to yourself like a friend, like a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What wisdom is awakening within you?
Hmm?
What wisdom is awakening within you?
That we're sitting on a treasure, just we really need to see it first before us and really believe in it, because then we can transfer this belief to other people. Like we really need to believe in our products, and products that we don't believe, we need to delete or put on hold and just focus on what we really believe, because the things that we really believe, we are able to present to the world.
Okay. And so with that, where is your intuition guiding you?
Continuing to do what we're doing, no matter what other people say. That realized I got yesterday, because just because these people don't want or need anymore these systems, because they have in their head to go in a different direction. Like Petty, I don't know if that's also good advice. Just because someone doesn't need a thing or is not interested even more in a thing, it doesn't mean that the thing is worthless. It just means that they not seeing the value, or that just their priorities have changed, but the value of the thing stays the same. And most of the time, even the people that think that the grass is greener, or that it's not valuable anymore to them, they are the one that then are losing. Because when they don't see the value, once they really understand the value, it's too late for them, because then the train has already passed. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing out of what you're saying, to just wrap it up into like a nice little package, is the inner wisdom that you're receiving is to align with your inner purpose and
Yes.
really figure out what that is this year.
I mean, I figured out what is my inner purpose. It's just I really need to believe in that subconsciously.
So what is your purpose, your inner purpose?
My inner purpose is I'm a problem solver. You give me a problem no matter what, and I'm working on it until it's solved. Done. As long as you give me the motivation to continue to help you solve that problem.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm just, stopping
Right.
it or doing it on my own.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like from that, your inner wisdom activation for your 2025 evolution is to align with your inner purpose of being the problem solver
Yeah.
that the world needs. Yes?
Yeah, like imagine we are like headhunters, but in a good way. And if you want to have your problem solved, because the truth is the people have tried other solutions before. Like people that are reaching out to us, and that's every time 100%, have worked before with others, failed, and then we got recommended to them, and then they're reaching out. So they're already in a state where the child has felt in the well. Just we need to really initiate that. Yeah. Because we're not people that are in the food chain very down the bottom. We are people where people reaching out to us that really understand that we are probably, at least in this country, that a very few people are able to solve the problem because they have tried so many things already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Patty, what comes up for you? What wants to emerge from your depths?
So what's emerging is listening as love, simplicity, and clarity. And thank you, Simon, for all you did, because while you were doing yours, I was going through mine.
Cool.
So it's like,
very
oh boy, she
important.
looks
Like,
brilliant. Like, no,
like every human has something
exactly.
that no one has. And once the human realized that, then he realized its power. So that doesn't mean that someone is special against others. It's everyone is special at their own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that you need to understand is you need to understand at what thing are you really good and what not. And when you have people reaching out for you for this thing, then you really need to know your worth. Because you know exactly that no one in the world can help them except you. Because that's the reason they reached out to you in the first place. Otherwise, they would reach out to someone else. Like, we have the internet, guys. Like, you can go to a website and you can make a booking with someone else that has the same service like you, but the client still make the decision to make a call with you.
Mm-hmm.
So already in his head, he has decided for you, because otherwise he would be somewhere else, because it's just one click away. Like, I can book like 100 meetings now with 100 people in like maybe an hour. I just need to put in my contact details and say when I want to talk to them. So it's a consciousness decision.
Definitely.
And the challenge is to understand it by our own, because in this way we communicate differently, and by communicating differently, like for example the meeting before, like have you seen how Perry switched from like being on a position of the owner, and then switched to us, to sharing to the owner that they need to sell to us.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's how we behave.
So
Because so
yeah,
this is an example that this works. So it's not something about us, it's just sharing you
I love that.
Really excited.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's let Piggy finish her answer. Patty finish her answer. I keep doing that.
That's okay.
And because the energy that you're feeling, Simon, goes into the next part, which is transformative power, because I can already
Yeah.
feel the power shift happening within you. But
Correct.
let's let Patty finish her answers, and then we'll move
Yeah.
into
Yes,
transformative
sure.
power, because you're already getting into like, how do we move? How do we be more strategic? Like you're already going 20 steps ahead. So let's give Patty the floor for a couple of minutes,
Yep.
and then we'll get into talking about transformative power.
Cool.
So Patty,
So
what
what
old-
old sheds, old skins are ready to be shed? Hesitance. Just the fear of I don't know what's going to happen, and I think there's like the word of stupidity. You know,
okay.
like I don't know it, like I do know it.
I feel that. So what wisdom is awakening within you?
This is a wisdom of ownership, of being cause in the matter, of accountability, of literally the wisdom of being a wise woman, of like staking claim. This is mine. This is what I'm creating. This is what I want to. This is what is there for me to give. Being the sage.
Yes, moving into that sage energy. Love that.
Yeah.
And where's your intuition guiding you?
That it's safe. It's okay. You know.
Yes. Yes. So harnessing that and moving into transformative power, the questions that Sophie came up with are, what parts of you are ready to transform? How can you move more strategically? Where do you need to conserve energy? And what requires patience gestation?
And for me, it's what parts are ready to transform is my connection with people, that it's open and receiving. What's moving more strategic is that I don't have it off to do it all in a day. You know, like even my game of talking to 12,000 people this year, it's like, oh, I don't need to talk to all of those this year. It's like what piece of that am I going to do this week? What piece of that am I going to do for my well-being?
Mm-hmm.
But I need to conserve. When do you need to conserve? I've actually been working with my schedule, my calendar, and knowing that in the evening it's just time for me just to relax. It's just like, so literally that I don't have to do everything. Like I've got like 15 Zoom meetings this week, and it's like, oh, it's like if that one doesn't work for me and I need to rest, to conserve it. And what requires patience, gestation, is well, that's my word for the year, is simplicity. So it's like I just be patient with it. It's like I don't have to have it happen overnight.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Kind
Yeah.
of philosophy.
Moving more slowly and focusing on ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's something we can get so wrapped up into all the to-dos that we have to do and this never-ending to-do list, where when we can really align with ourselves and find where our transformative power comes from by working on ourselves, and that's some of the recommendations that Sophie so generously gave to us, is things like meditation, stillness practice, intuitive movement, journaling, dream tracking, sacred pause moments. it goes, I love, this is one of the things I love about Sophie is like, Sophie didn't hear what I said at the beginning of this call, but this is exactly what I'm talking about is we're in this environment of go, 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 go all the time, where evolution truly comes from within. And if we can incorporate practices like meditation, like journaling, taking those sacred moments to pause, then that's where alignment truly takes place. So I love, Patty, that you said that you have been working with your schedule, and that's something that Simon and I have been working on as well, is really finding the flow that works best.
And interesting is the hustle has stopped. So like before, our clients call day and night, now they don't.
Right.
Yeah, like
and we have the same client. Like,
sorry,
you know,
Patty,
like,
what were you going?
Yeah.
Well, I like for me, you know, like I'm in this adult foster home, and it gets dark after 7 here,
Mm-hmm.
and set, you know, and it's I literally will have to get up and go over, turn on the light. You know, it's like, no, I'm just gonna watch a nice movie here. You know, like it's downtime.
Yeah, exactly, and respecting that time.
Exactly.
Because it's so important for us to honor rest. Like you said from the beginning with the baby example, when you have a child, like especially when a baby is new and learning and that first 3 years of their life, rest is so important for a child as well. And it's like we forget about it. We feel like we always have to be on the go and always doing something, where by flipping the switch, which is interesting, like you said, to go turn the light switch on, by keeping the light switch off and embracing the darkness, embracing the still time, that quiet time, it actually energizes us that much more for the next day.
Yeah.
So a little bit more about the snake year, just to kind of cover the areas of life like we talked about in the last session. So bringing the energy of the year of the snake, which we're moving into right now with the Chinese New Year starting, is from business and career. It's being strategic rather than rushing moves, trusting intuitive timing, building from solid foundation, preserving energy for key moments. For personal growth, it's doing the deep inner work, conscious
and the right
releasing.
people. Sorry.
No, that's okay. What were you going to say?
The right people are already there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The right people are there. It's about us aligning with ourselves, so then we align with the right people.
Correct.
If we're spreading ourselves too thin or just chasing after any opportunity, we're not grounded in what we need and who we need to be working with.
Correct.
And that goes into the personal growth aspect of the conscious releasing, the wisdom gathering, and patience transformation. Because in patience is when we get the most definitive answers. It's not in the moment. Like you can, if you feel like some people are really good at that. I'm one of those that if I make it, like I can make a decision in the moment, but really that's because of how I articulate myself. Whereas there are some people that need a full 28-day cycle to actually know what's right for them.
Correct.
And all things are valid. From a relationship perspective, it's deep, authentic connections, which, Simon, you just said that, the right people are there, clear boundaries, intentional engagements, and trust building. So from a business perspective, like we already kind of talked about, from relationships, is working with clients that we can build long-term trust with, or building our online presence so that the customers who are coming to us do trust us already, which is the cool thing about doing these sort of, like, to use this space as an example. This is, and Patty, you have yours on Sundays, and Simon, you have yours on Mondays. Like it really is about giving the information freely to showcase who you are, so the right person comes to you with already saying yes. There's no hesitation. And then from a creation,
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Like because what we do is on the call to action call, we use the card that I pulled for the week. And the card I pulled this week was intention.
Mm.
And so I said, so what games you want to build around attention? And all of a sudden people started talking about happiness. And it was like, okay, how do you fit that into a game? And it was like letting that intuitiveness and being with them and letting them organically express themselves.
Yeah.
This brilliant conversation came out of it. Instead of, no, it has to go this way, it actually eliminates being able, it's like telling a baby, no, this is the way you have to walk. Like, no, they're going to walk the way they need to walk.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. There is no right way. That's the cool thing, is everything can be done in its own unique direction. It's our path to walk. It's our evolution to create, and we're all at different stages going through different things. So to try to have some perfect goal, like even to put a goal out there that's like, I want to make $10,000 a month this year. Well, are you even ready to make $10,000 a month? I was talking to one of my coaches about that, and it's like, okay, well, what does making $10,000 a month actually mean? It means higher taxes. It means higher employee wages. It means higher program costs. It means more disgruntled clients. Like there's those things that come along with making $10,000 a month that we don't think about when we're just saying, I want to make $10,000 a month.
No.
Are you ready
Right.
to deal with all of those things that come along with making $10,000 a month? Because if your business,
challenges are scaling as well.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
and our well-being too. It's like, where did, like me saying, yeah, I was taking care of my well-being, and then I fall and break my leg, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm a coach online. How do I oh, I really do not want to be coaching 4 people this year. What I'm putting my focus on is, how do I step into the shower really by
Right.
myself? It's like literally that versus like this big lofty goal. Does it include all of the other games that I have in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Which include the body, the money, my home, creativity, personal growth, communications. Exactly. It includes all of it. We are whole beings.
Exactly. So that wraps us up our 2-week talk about New Year's evolution. So next week, we're moving into action. This is where we're going to take everything that we've been talking about for the last, how many months has it been? Like 3-4 months, however long it's been, to build all of this foundation and start to put it into practice. We now have our ideal year, we have our desires, we have our ideal month, we have our ideal week. We know that the moon is important to pay attention to and how the lunar cycles affect us, which is also really cool because today's the new moon. So it's all about setting intentions, which I feel like we've captured that for this month for sure. And how the zodiac signs can assist us in building our plan. And now we're going to move into, how do you put that into action every week? So this is something that we talk about in the Accountability Club a lot. And this is why I've taken a break from the Accountability Club for a month, so we can kind of reset and re-establish how the Accountability Club is going to work, because I feel like these inspiration calls are how we're going to compound what we've been learning. So next week on Wednesday, we're going to plan February. So February starts on Saturday. Saturday. So what I encourage you to do is to think about what you want February to be for you. Take a look at your desire map for your year, what you wanted as a desired feeling that you want to bring into February. Kat and I, sorry, Patty, what did you want to say?
Well, I just want to say, like, for me, like, for each of my games that I have an intention. Like, for my Body for Life game is balance and ease. That we all have intentions around what we're playing. And to put that, you know, kind of like, think about that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the cool angle that you bring into this whole practice too, because it's like you've got like an extra edge because of your
my sagedom.
Your sagedom. I love that. Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to bring to Wednesday is do your beginning of the month planning before we come to Wednesday. Like, think about what you want to accomplish that next month. Plan out what the term is that you want to use. We're calling it Figure It Out February. That's what we've decided to move forward with. So that's our team is all about Figure It Out February. That's what we're going to be doing. And then what we're going to do on Wednesday is we're going to do some beginning of the month questions, answer those questions. And then, align that with our ideal plan. We're going to take a look at our ideal week, take a look at our ideal month, see if there's anything that we need to change based off of the things that have come up from our yearly evolution planning. If we need to take out some of the time blocks that we had, put in some of those time blocks. And that's what we're going to work through. So every week we're going to talk about, just as like a midweek check-in. It's just a midweek check-in. Where are we at? Where are we at energetically? And bookend that with beginning of the month planning and end of the month planning. And then we're going to cycle from there.
Cool. Let's do that.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Perfect.
Bye.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.